Well, currently I attend Treasure Valley Baptist. I've attended that church for well over 20 years now. Right now I'm teaching the 5th grade Sunday school class, and I just started teaching this. It's great. When I arrived at Valley Shepherd, I was probably 2nd, maybe 3rd grade-ish. We lived here in Meridian. My family was probably your relatively normal American family. My dad is a man's man. We were not raised on a farm, but we were raised to be farm kids. We worked like men from day one. That was an expectation. We never really had a chore list. Our list was work until Dad was done working, which was usually late in the evening. I know that I was a handful, and we caused probably a lot of angst in a lot of teachers. The first camp that I got to go to was as a 3rd grader. I remember that I got in trouble quite a bit, and that we got to play box hockey. And I loved box hockey. It was wonderful. The next year, as a 4th grader, we were at another camp. We were up at Victory Cove Campground, and I know they don't use that camp any longer, but that building is still there, and that long A-frame chapel is still there. And there was a man preaching and was giving an invitation for salvation, and was explaining very plainly that Jesus Christ died for me, and that he loved me, and that if I would come and ask him by faith, he would save me how I was, and that I couldn't earn it, and I couldn't do anything to deserve it. I just came and asked him for it. And that really appealed to me. It appealed to me because it was so contradictory to my home, because home was earned. Everything was earned. We worked, we were productive, and that's fine, but salvation was a gift, and it drew me forward. And I remember going forward and kneeling at that altar at Victory Cove and asking Jesus Christ to save me. We left attending Valley Shepherd in 6th grade. That's when my parents split up then. And I made some friends with some people that were going to Fairview Nazarene Church. And I don't know why they allowed this, but they allowed me to join their family at a family camp. And of all places, we went to Victory Cove. And at Victory Cove, they had a baptismal service. And I remember the Lord dealing with me. I had no expectation of that when I said I'd go to family camp with them, but I remember the Lord dealing with me about baptism. You got saved. You should be baptized. And I remember getting baptized there at Victory Cove in Lake Payette. That must have been around 1995. I ended up graduating from high school and kind of continuing on my life, rolling in college and going on. And then around 1999, the Lord really started directly working in my heart about getting into church. This is not something I normally do, right? I attended church 4 or 5 times a year. And so I started looking and searching to go to church. And I attended a series of churches. I'd go to a couple churches every Sunday, just kind of like looking where I should go and what do you want me to do? And I ended up attending Treasure Valley Baptist. And that's where I still attend. And the Lord started working in my life. I got involved with their college and career group, and I remember making a distinct decision saying, I want to go to church for the Lord. And the Lord really continued that work that he started way back in 4th grade. And I see a distinct line between those things, that the Lord was just pulling me to him. I enrolled in Bible school part-time. I guess another major event is I got interested in the pastor's daughter. And I am a year and a half or so into Bible school, and I went and talked to him, and I said, hey, I'd like to start seeing your daughter Vicky. And he said, no. I was a little frustrated with him just saying no to me because I was attending Bible school and all that. And anyway, a year later, I go back to the pastor and say, hey, I'm interested in Vicky still. I'd really like to see her. And he says, and I quote, no, 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 no. I end up graduating from Bible school, and I get to take a missions trip. I get to go to Papua New Guinea and spent a summer there. It was a great experience. And when I came back, the rapport that I built with the missionary helped me in my cause. And this man, Dennis Wells, and I became good friends, and Dennis Wells and my pastor were very good friends, and Dennis put in a good word for me. And so over the next 6 months or so, I was allowed to start seeing my wife and getting to know her. And 6 months after that, we were married. And I got a great wife. God gave me a wonderful wife, and I have wonderful children. So my wife and I got married in 2006, and about a year and a half later, we had twin babies. And they were born at 28 weeks. They were very little. We had a 3-pound, 2-ounce baby and a 1-pound, 12-ounce baby. We were immediately put into the NICU at St. Alphonsus, and days roll by, and the first couple were really touchy, and the boys are doing great. We're day 6, things are great. We go home late in the evening, and my phone rings about 4 in the morning, and we get this news that says, you need to be here now. And we race to the hospital, and our smallest son, Jared, is passing away. And that was actually 15 years ago today. And you know, that was just shocking. It took all the innocence of life and away in the sense that, oh, you get pregnant and you have a baby and everything's okay. Well, it wasn't okay. And we had a funeral for Jared, and at that funeral, you know, a handful of days later after he passed, I get a phone call, and it's a hospital, and they're saying Brian has contracted pneumonia. And over the next 2 months, Brian fights for his life, and we go through a series of surgeries and trials, and he ended up living 69 days. One thing that I would have to give a testimony of what God did in all of that is the Lord changed my life, and I would tie that back to camp, because that's when I got saved. And through all these rough things in life, we're now in this NICU, and our second son just died, and we ended up just being kind to these people. They did everything they could for us. They did everything they could for my sons, and they ended up passing away. And years later, we found out that we had a tremendous testimony with these people without even knowing it. I guess what started this conversation, and maybe reason why I'm here, is a month or so ago, a pastor at our church was preaching and mentioned the individual that led him to the Lord and all that. And he encouraged us to reach out to whoever it was that had a hand in leading you to Jesus Christ. And that got me thinking, and I looked up Rick Waitley on Facebook and sent him a message, and just expressing my gratefulness for him serving the Lord. He was the man given the invitation or running that camp at Victory Cove all those years ago. And I know that I caused Rick problems. I know that I was a challenge. But when he gave that invitation, as I remember thinking, I need Jesus Christ. I need what he's talking about. And through all the trials since then, I I can't really give credit to anybody or anything other than Jesus Christ. And I am so grateful that there was a camp, there was a place that I could go and hear about the God of the world, the Savior, Jesus Christ. I've taken my kids back to Victory Cove, and I showed them where I got saved. And I will be forever grateful for Victory Cove.